Hi guys, and welcome back for another video from Nottingham Music Excellence. So today I thought I'd do a video on comparing two mouthpieces. Hopefully this won't get too sort of nerdy, but actually part of this is to satisfy my own curiosity. So I've been using B45s for a long time, the standard B45 and the B45 Lyre version, and I bought this BD5, the VANDOREN BD5, and I rather quite like it, but I'm interested to do a good comparison between the two. Stay tuned, here we go. I'm going to play through some Demnitz Studies, which I think are really good for pupils. Now if you want a comparison as to what level they are, I think the Demnitz Study, the elementary school book, is roughly grade 3 to 6 standard if you're doing the ABRSM syllabus. And I think it's a super book for young players to play through. So I'm going to play a selection of studies from that book with different styles of tonguing and slurring and phrasing, and we'll see what the results are. Okay, so first up, the BD5, a random read out the box. Sounds quite nice. Quite hard that one, but I think that's quite a nice sound. Yeah, a bit softer that one, a bit more lively. In fact, a lot more softer. You wouldn't believe that was the same number read, but it is. Doesn't really have the tone quality that I like, this one. Again, out of the same box, but hasn't really got that sort of quality of resonance that I like, but it's okay. It's certainly a usable read though. Okay, right, so I'm on read number 3 and this is woo too hard. I mean, come on. How can that be in the same box? If I carry on playing this for too long, you're gonna see some veins popping out of my head, I think, on this one. I certainly wouldn't get through La Traviata on that one, so I think we'll pass on that one. Okay, so I think we're on read number 5, I think. This is really soft. It's crazy how much they differ so much. Really soft read this is. So I think this is going to be good for some quieter moments. Wow, another gone from a really soft one to another pretty hard one. Hey, That's okay. I think I could use that. It's a little bit hard, but I think that'll be okay. I'm going to play a bit from this C minor study now on page 31. I think this is really good for pupils around grade 6 sort of standard, I would say. Okay, I think we're on number 9 and we found a bit of a tree trunk. Blimey. Whoa, that is a hard reed. Okay, so on reflection though, I think that first reed that I tried was actually the best one, wasn't it? It sounded pretty nice. And we had a couple in there that were just a little bit soft. I only put one aside that was a bit of a duffer. And then I had a fair few that were just a little bit hard, that probably just needed playing in a bit more and maybe tweaking slightly. So I think that's ideally what you're after. You're after a box of reeds in that sort of category. You don't want a box of reeds that you've got over half of those reeds that are too soft, because if they're too soft to start with, they're just going to go so downhill so quickly. So that's not ideal. So you want something that just starts off a little bit harder than your setting, I think. Okay, so back to this first reed again, which sounded quite nice. I think this has got a reasonable amount of clarity to it, and it's got some nice tone quality too. I think one of the really nice things about the BD5 is you can play so quietly on it. You've got a lot of control on it. You really can play incredibly quietly on it. Okay, so over to my previous setup, I'm going to switch to the B45 and play a box of standard 2.5s. See how we get on with these. Okay, right, so I sound like Akabilk or something on this one. This it sounds really quite different. So this sounds quite soft, this one. Sounds a bit wild, doesn't it? This, I don't know whether that's just a one-off reed or that is the sound I used to make. That's kind of weird, actually. Sounds like a lollipop stick in comparison to the other setup. It's just so much easier to play, obviously, because it's a 2.5 and the other one's a 3. But just the whole characteristics of the sound is quite different. But it's certainly got a lot more clarity. I think for students, for younger players, this is probably going to be a perfect setup, I think, to see them through for a fair few years. So I think one of the things that I do like about this BD5 is just it's got such an elegant sound, a very refined tone, and it just makes quite a pretty sound. Now the one thing perhaps I'm got some reservations about is that narrow tip setting does restrict the sound for me a little bit, I think. I can't see myself playing the but I couldn't see me playing like a Copeland cadenza on this. It's just too restrictive, but for something a bit more you know, something like that, some orchestral playing maybe, or just some chamber music. Again, it can depend on the reed that you've put on there and what your playing is like, but for me this mouthpiece is really about the elegance of the sound. So try to always test your new mouthpiece with a batch of new reeds. Don't fall for that schoolboy error, I think, of putting your old reed on the new mouthpiece and then trying to make a comparison, like to see if that mouthpiece is better than the other one. Because mouthpieces have very different shapes inside and tip gap openings, and you know, it all gets a bit nerdy when you start to get into these settings, but you know, I think the chances of your old reed suiting that new setup is pretty slim. And also, if you're looking for a new sound and a new setup, then why would you put your old reed on there anyway? So try a whole batch of new reeds, and of course have a think about whether you're choosing a slightly narrower tip gap or a slightly wider tip gap, because that will affect your reed choice as well. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Bye.